So you're probably wondering why I have two packages, or actually it's probably on the thumbnail. So why am I even going to go through the semantics of making it a fun and mysterious video when I probably already spoiled the whole thing in the thumbnail? Because otherwise, why would you have clicked on this video? They threw this in for free, I guess. I don't want it. Of course, this is what I actually ordered this for. This is the 58-piece version. Archie blows. The 60-piece version. So LEGO has made some interesting changes to this Polybag. It's something they rarely do, is make changes to a set during its production run, and that is something that they have done here. So let's take a closer look at what LEGO has done to the 20th anniversary Anakin's Podracer. So for as long as I can remember, I have had problems with this Polybag, the worst LEGO Star Wars 20th anniversary set in my opinion, and that's going to go to the mini Anakin's Podracer. I think that this thing is just absolute dog crap. I for whatever reason, the front of the engines with the yellow 1x4 tiles on them just won't stay on. They always just snap right off. This is the 58-piece version of the Anakin's Podracer Polybag. This was released around April of 2019, and you can see it looks pretty normal, right? But I've always had problems with this, and I'm sure I've said multiple times in other places, and you guys have probably heard me if you've watched the videos and maybe podcasts or live streams where I've talked about this. But this Polybag is actually terrible. Like the front end of these just continue to fall off on me, and it's a serious design flaw. And obviously, I think you're getting at what's happening here. There's now a 60-piece version of this Polybag, and they've actually made more changes than just to the design to hold it in, which we'll take a look at, but they have changed the design on the front end here so that the engine should stay held in place. So we're going to build both these Polybags and take a quick look at the differences. Quite obviously, they look very similar on the surface level. You're not going to be able to pick out too many differences by just looking at them, but that being said, there are some differences when you just look at them. We'll start up near the driver's area of the Podracer, and on the right here we have the original version, and you'll see that there is only one connection between this clear piece and this cockpit area, and that can come out very easily. It's not an issue I actually had with this set, but I can see why maybe some kids during play could have pulled that off and LEGO would have seen that as an issue. You'll also notice there's a blue 1x4 plate there, and if we bring over the newer remodeled version here, we actually have two connection points for this clear piece that connects up to the engines up there, but it actually has like a hanging bar that comes down and crosses into that piece, and that creates two connection points, which is impossible to get out unless you actually take these pieces off and then pull it out. So that's something that's definitely a positive that they changed. Perhaps the negative side of that is now that they use the light gray piece, it might be a little bit less color accurate than the previous mini rendition. It's tough to know though, because the 2011 version of the Podracer doesn't really have too much blue up there, so I guess it doesn't really matter. It can definitely go either way as far as the colors on there go. I don't think that's a big deal. The bigger change was at the front engine area, in my opinion. This was the most important change that they made. The change in the back, that's nice, but I didn't think it was particularly necessary. I didn't even know it was a problem, to be honest. But the problem for me with this set is something that, like I said, I had mentioned many, many times before. It's one of my biggest gripes with a LEGO Star Wars mini Polybag ever. It has to be my biggest. I can't imagine any other Polybag that I've disliked more than this one, and it's because of this. Bam, gone. Like, I barely touched those, right? And that's because the connection point between them is literally just this stud, and for whatever reason, it's just not a very strong connection. There's nothing else holding it in place other than that stud, and it just creates a really, really poor experience. And I'm sure for parents that bought these for kids just hated it, because they would probably just fall off all the time, and I'm sure it didn't last long. I'm sure they just see, just falls right off. Just the dumbest thing I've ever seen on a LEGO Star Wars Polybag. So what they did with the new one is quite interesting. So you can see there's actually an extra little tile there, or a plate there. You can see that did not exist on the previous version. So an extra bit of blue there at the front, which is kind of neat. I think that's accurate to what we see with the actual set. They used a flick-fire missile to run through here. So you have, like, at the front here, we'll pull all these off. it just runs through there with the flick-fire missile. So you can see the front end of the flick-fire missile there, and the actual pole part of the flick-fire missile runs all the way into the Podracer there, and that is what has really fixed this design more or less. Now, there is still one flaw with this set, I would say, and it's these 1x4 tiles. It didn't get fixed. I don't know if there was a way to fix it, but as you can tell, they move a lot very easily, and so they'll end up looking really wonky very quickly. But I don't find that to be anywhere near as annoying as the whole assembly on the front side just falling off. So that has been solved. And real quick, for comparison's sake, I did find my 2012 Anakin's Podracer mini Polybag set, and you know, it really opened my eyes. I hadn't compared these two sets side by side, and Lego definitely went bigger on the Polybags here. So the $5 increase in Polybag price might even be more worth it now when you consider the models are just simply bigger now. Like, you look at this small thing from 2012 that you paid $4 for versus what you paid $4 for in 2019, and it's like, well, hey, that's actually not bad at all. Like, they actually did something good. Wow. And I think that went really under the radar. I don't think anyone was talking about that, but that is just something I wanted to notice. And you can see they definitely made them more accurate with the newer one. I mean, as much as I like the older one, it obviously just doesn't stand up. There's just a lot more detail on the newer versions of the Polybags for Anakin's Podracer for the 20th anniversary. But those are the changes that Lego made to the Polybag. On the back of these Polybags here, you can see this one was packaged in the 13th week of 2019. This one was packaged in the 42nd week of 2019. So at the very least, it took them about 30 weeks to make this change after the first possible production run. I don't know when the first production run was, but between these two production runs, it was 30 weeks for the different models of Anakin's Podracer. So a very interesting thing Lego did here. Definitely something you don't see them do often is change up a design mid-production run. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.